Good Monday afternoon, everybody. And I would like to wish y'all a happy Halloween. We finally made it to the end of October, and I can't be any more excited. Today's video has been one of my most anticipated videos to make this month. This is going to be my Halloween ranking from worst to best. So, Halloween is one of my favorite horror movie franchises. There are some ups and there are some definite downs. So, let's talk about all 13. And without making this video too long, I'm going to get started with the worst movie in the Halloween franchise, in my opinion. It might be up on some people's list, but at 13, I have Halloween Resurrection. This is the 8th film in the franchise, and this basically retcons the ending of Halloween H2O. So, the real Michael is back, and at the beginning of this movie, he finally kills Laurie Strode once and for all. That's a very, very bad sin for the Halloween franchise. From there, this movie falls apart because this is all about an internet show called Dangertainment, and it's like a hidden camera show, and they explore Michael Myers' childhood home. This is more of like a guilty pleasure, but this is not a good movie. And I can't leave out Busta Rhymes. He's literally the cringiest part of this movie, but I can watch him for the campiness. Especially when Michael Myers gets electrocuted in the nuts. But, yeah. At number 13, Halloween Resurrection. And at number 12, I put Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers. And this movie did what H2O did, where it retconned the previous movie, making Jamie Lloyd a mute, and she is like stuck in like a children's institute. Now all of a sudden she has a psychic connection to Michael Myers. And again, they kill off like one of my favorite final girls, that would be Rachel, and replace her with Tina, one of the most insufferable characters in the entire franchise. And not to mention, Donald Pleasence is like a nutcase in this movie. He doesn't know what's even going on, and he's always like crying and whining and all that. It's a little weird, but I can still watch it here and there. It's just not one of my favorites. That's why it's at number 12. So that was Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers, and at number 12. At number 11, and I know there are some defenders to this movie, but I've seen this a few times, but I just really don't like it as much as a lot of people do. And that is Halloween 3, The Season of the Witch, or Season of the Witch. So this was marketed to be like an anthology after the ending of Halloween 2. So this sort of takes place in the timeline, but it's its own separate movie. This is about a doctor who tries to stop this evil corporation called Silver Shamrock from destroying the kids while they put on the Halloween masks. That's this whole movie. What is redeeming about this movie is the over-the-top gore and violence. But this is just a strange movie. I really wanted to like this movie more, but it's just not for me. And I know there's no Michael Myers in it. That's what I want in the Halloween franchise. So that's why this movie is low on my list. That was Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. And you'll see this same DVD here in a few minutes, so I'll keep that on the side. Moving right along to my top 10. And at number 10, I have Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers. This is the sixth entry and the conclusion to the Thorn trilogy. This movie is mainly forgotten because every time I watch it, I completely forgot what even happened. But essentially, Michael Myers is back, of course, because he never dies, allegedly. But he catches up with Jamie Lloyd, and he kills her in the beginning of like a combine harvester, and he's looking for her kid. So this movie is very strange, and you have the introduction of Paul Rudd, which is played by Tommy Doyle, and he knows all about Michael Myers. It turns out Michael Myers is in like some kind of cult or something, and Michael Myers wanted to have his evil transferred into like this newborn or something. That this is just a strange one. But I do gotta admit, I don't really like the Strode family in this one. They're very annoying, and they do the stupidest thing by actually moving into Michael Myers' house. So you get like one of my favorite deaths in here, and that's like the dad when he gets electrocuted in the laundry room. Really gruesome and very much deserving, because that's one of the worst characters, and he's got like the best death. But this is also Donald Pleasant's last role as Dr. Loomis, so he's barely even in this movie. This one was just okay to me, but that was Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers. And at number 9 is going to be the new kid on the block, Halloween Ends. Now, this is still a pretty brand new movie, of course, and I have some things to say about it, so there will be some minor spoilers in here. Essentially, this picks up 4 years after the events of Halloween 2018 and Halloween Kills, and you're introduced to like a new character named Corey Cunningham, which was like a babysitter who accidentally kicked his kid down the stairs, and he died. So he lives with the guilt. He's always bullied, and then he finds Michael Myers, and he becomes his accomplice. So this really sounds like Corey Cunningham's film, but you're like looking for that final confrontation with Laurie and Michael. You do get that in the last 20 minutes of this film, and it's very lackluster, and it leaves open some stuff, but essentially Laurie and Allison catch up with Michael, stabs both of his hands, slits his throat, and put him in like a trash compactor. And that's how you end Halloween. It was different. And then Laurie actually keeps Michael's mask. What does that mean for the rest of the franchise? That there is going to be another entry or two. We don't know. But I'm still thinking about this movie. I really do need to rewatch it, but I wanted to like this movie. It just didn't turn out to be that great, in my opinion. But that was Halloween Ends. Edit number 8. And a lot of people don't like this film as well, but I actually did give this another chance, and it moved up a little bit. That was Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. And this, of course, picks up after the events of the 2007 Rob Zombie film, where Laurie is in the hospital, and you only get like 15 minutes of that. The rest of this movie is her descent into madness. So she now lives with Annie and her dad, but she just spirals out of control throughout this entire movie. I really did enjoy this movie for like the third or fourth time that I saw it, because I understood all of the imagery to it. It's strange, but I definitely do enjoy this movie a little bit more. But Michael Myers actually grunts, and this is the director's cut, so he says one word, and that's when he kills Loomis, and that is die. That's all you get, and I know a lot of people would hate that, but it's just very, very small, and the way this movie ends is like a fever dream, because Laurie dies, and she's greeted with Sherry Moon Zombie and the White Horse, meaning that she accepted her place in the family. But that was Halloween 2, Rob Zombie. And at number 7 is going to be the original Halloween 2, 1981. And this is a very worthy sequel of the original. So this takes place on the same night, and Laurie is in the hospital, and she's recovering from her night of terror. And this is just like a cat and mouse game where she's trying to escape Michael again. This has one of my all-time favorite deaths in the entire franchise, and it's where Michael boils that nurse alive in a hydrotherapy pool. It's a really, really gnarly death. So, yeah. I've always really liked this sequel, and that was Halloween 2, and at number 7. And now we're in my top 6, and a lot of these are going to be controversial. But moving right along, I have Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. And this basically retcons the first 2 Halloween films and starts a new trilogy with the Thorn trilogy. And this now focuses on Laurie Strode's daughter, Jamie Lloyd. So we are introduced to Danielle Harris, which is one of my favorite characters in this franchise. And we also meet Rachel, which is another one of my favorite final girls. So, after 10 years, Michael is back, and he wreaks havoc on Haddonfield. And of course, Donald Pleasence is he does another great performance in here. And I've always really enjoyed this movie, but it just hasn't been high on my list. But it got better after the many years I've watched it. So that was Halloween 4, and at number 6. Top 5. And a lot of people are going to either love this movie or hate it. My number 5 pick is going to be Rob Zombie's Halloween. Now, hear me out. The first 20 minutes of this film is very, very crass, very, very vulgar, but when you see Michael Myers descend into madness, that's a really tragic story, because this is set up in like 3 parts, where Michael is growing up as a kid, and then he goes to the asylum, and then he breaks out and finds Laurie Strode. So basically, what I love about this movie is the creative choices that Rob Zombie actually tried. I like how he gave Michael Myers' story an edge, a very sharp edge. And Michael Myers kills his sister, of course, very brutally. Words. Slits his stepdad's throat, and then beats Judith's boyfriend to death with like an aluminum bat. It's really grisly in the beginning, and that's really what sets this movie off. He also goes to extreme heights to kill off Daryl Sabara, which is like the bully, and he beats him to death with like a stick. And then you get the introduction of Loomis in here, now played by Malcolm McDowell, and it's just not the same without Donald Pleasence. I know Malcolm McDowell tried his best, but I only see Sam Loomis as Donald Pleasence. So you always get like these little interviews in between Loomis and Michael, and that's kind of like what slows down this movie, because like the second half, in my opinion, it's probably like the slowest part of this entire movie. But when it gets back into like the zombified Halloween remake, it's very, very good. So there's going to be differing opinions on this movie, but I do like it for what it is. And I'll always watch this one here and there. But that was my number 5 pick, Rob Zombie's Halloween. And in number 4 is another controversial pick, Halloween Kills. Now, I've heard a lot of people talk trash about this movie. This is like the best I've seen Michael Myers throughout this whole franchise, because he is a relentless killing machine. I mean, kills is in the title, and you get quite a lot of those. And this picks up right after the ending of Halloween, where Michael escapes his infernal death, and the firefighters come and save him. And that's when this movie starts. He just goes bonkers on all these firefighters, and this is just carnage candy galore. But what I don't really care about this movie is kind of like the script, because it's kind of lazy, and you get that repetitive phrase, "evil dies tonight." That got very annoying. But that's like the only part I don't like about this movie, is the "evil dies tonight" stuff. Everything else about this movie is just a fun time, in my opinion. But that was number 4, Halloween Kills. Top 3. And at number 3 is going to be Halloween 2018. And this could be labeled as H40, because this takes place 40 years after the original massacre. And this completely wipes the slate of all the sequels. And this is considered to be like Halloween 3 in a way, because this only mentions the original. And now Laurie is like a survivalist. She's got like a brand new family. She tries everything in her power to protect them from Michael. Best I've ever seen Jamie Lee Curtis since the original. I really like her in this trilogy, but this is her best performance since the original. I really do enjoy this movie quite a bit, because the story is he was locked up for 40 years, and Jamie Lee Curtis was training to kill him finally. So that was Halloween 2018. Top 2. Now, since I'm like a 90s kid, my number 2 pick is actually going to be Halloween H2O, 20 years later. So this was released in 1998, and this picks up where Laurie Strode is now a headmistress at a prestigious California preparatory academy. So she changes her name, hoping that Michael won't find her and kill her once and for all. Of course, Michael does find her, and you are treated to like one of my all-time favorite endings to the series. But it got ruined with Halloween Resurrection. Laurie finally steals a van and pins him to a tree and decapitates him with an axe. That's literally the perfect ending to their story. But of course, there were more movies after this, and there were very differing opinions on how this franchise should end. But this has always been one of my favorite entries in the franchise, and I really do enjoy it quite a bit. That was my number 2 pick, Halloween H2O. And if you stick around this long, you know what number 1 is. I mean, I'm wearing it. It didn't. But that is the original Halloween. Need I say more about this movie? It's the perfect horror movie that started off one of the best horror movie franchises of all time. Of course, Michael Myers kills his sister in 1963 and is locked up for 15 years, and he escapes one night and he hunts down his other sister, Laurie Strode. He kills 3 people, and you have like some of the best moments in this movie where there's always that looming dread, and I just love this movie to death. I watch it almost every year, and I'm not changing it where I rank it. So that is the winner for this Halloween ranking. John Carpenter's Halloween 1978. And that is the end of my Halloween content. So, this was a really, really successful month video-wise for me, because I filmed quite a bit, and I just want to thank everybody who watched and keep trying to support me. There will be more videos like this next year where I might like rank another horror movie franchise. So that'll be next year. You'll hear more about that. But otherwise, probably going to take a break for like a week or so. Then I'll bring in more videos. But one video I do want to film is my dual review for Black Panther and Black Panther Wakanda Forever. So look out for that video, and enjoy the rest of your Halloween, and stay safe, and don't get killed by Michael Myers. Okay. Have an awesome Halloween. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Adios. Peace.